Hello guys, hope you all are well and good. So we will be starting with the next chapter of Fundamentals of Physical Geography. The next chapter is a distribution of oceans and continents. In this chapter we will be studying that how the oceans, the shape of the oceans, the shape of the continents, what was the shape earlier and what is the shape today. We will be starting with the continental drift theory given by Alfred Wegener, moving to the plate tectonic theory. How we further moved towards plate tectonic theory. What are the plates? What are the trenches? How Himalayas were formed, and lot of other things. So let's start. So the first theory regarding the distribution of ocean and continents is continental drift theory. Continental drift theory given by Alfred Wegener. Alfred Wegener claimed that there was, say, this is the Earth. He said that there was a supercontinent. I will not draw the exact picture of the supercontinent. I am drawing a circle inside it. There was a, say this is the Earth. There was a supercontinent, a single continent. He names it as Pangaea. And there was a super ocean, the single ocean. He named it as Panthalassa. So supercontinent Pangaea and a single ocean, that is Panthalassa. He says that this Pangaea first started dividing into two parts. The northern part is known as Laurasia, or you will be able to see the other name, that is Ankara land. The southern part of this continent, he named it as Gondwana land. Laurasia, St. Lawrence River in North America continent, Europe and Asia. So we can easily get to know that from Laurasia majorly three continents were formed. The one is North America, the other is Europe, and the third one is Asia. So the rest of them will be formed by the Gondwana land. Next, he also gave some evidences to prove his theory. He gave some evidences. Alfred Wegener gave some evidences to prove his theory. What was the first evidence? The first evidence is jigsaw fit. You might have played a game of this name, jigsaw fit, where we fit the blocks. So he says that if we observe the continent named South America and Africa, other continents also, he gave example of only two, that if we fit them, if we bring both of them closer to each other, they fit perfectly, almost perfectly. Jigsaw fit. Second evidence he gave was rocks, age of rocks. He says that if you study the rocks in the South America continent and in the Africa continent. The age of both rocks is same. Means they have been formed at the same age. Whenever they have been formed, they formed at the same age. However, they are 4,800 kilometers apart. Still, they are formed of the same age. The next evidence he gave was pillite. Pillite is a kind of, you can also say it as pillite deposit. Pillite is a kind of deposit done by glacier. Now glaciers also move. Yes, they move. When they'll move, they'll erode. If they'll erode, they'll also deposit. So pillite are the deposits made by the glacier. Now the evidences of this pillite have been found in Southern Africa, Southern India, part of Western Australia and part of Antarctica. Means in the region of Gondwana land. So pillite deposits also adds up to proving his theory of continental drift theory. Means the continents have been drifted. Next he gives the theory of, evidence of placer deposits. Placer deposits are the deposits which are made by a river on its banks. Now, if you know that in Western Africa we have a country, NCERT writes it. In Western Africa we have a country named as Ghana coast. In that Ghana coast we find the deposits of golds. But the origin of golds is found in Brazil. Those type of golds. The way the golds were deposited can be seen deposited in the Ghana coast are actually similarly they are deposited in Brazil. If you connect them, if you join them, if you will fit them, you will find that Brazil is if you will fit them, you will see that Brazil is sharing boundary with Ghana, the country Ghana. Placer deposits, rivers, deposited by rivers. Next, he gives another evidence, that is distribution of fossils. Distribution of mammals, distribution of plants. See, the animals or so-called mammals or plants change themselves, adapt themselves as per the climate. You may observe, people living in higher latitudes have a fair complexion. People living in tropical region or equatorial region have a dark complexion. The reason is, we have already studied that insolation or the sunlight is maximum throughout the year on equator or near the equator. So plants also, you can see cactus in desert. You will not see cactus in this normal region, in an equatorial region. Because the upper layer of cactus is wax layer, which reduces the transpiration. That is why it is seen in desert region. Now, distribution of fossils of same mammals, same plants in the Brazilian rocks and in Western Africa. Even if they are apart, even if there is a huge ocean between them, that is Atlantic Ocean. Distribution of fossils. Now, next he says, he explains the Alfred Wegener was asked the next question. Scholar said, geographer said, okay sir, we accept that whatever you are saying is correct. Can you tell us what is the force behind this drift? Alfred Wegener said, yes sir, why not? Force behind the drift. The first force we mention is pole fleeing force. Pole fleeing force. He says that as the earth rotates, earth is not of spherical shape. The shape of the earth is geoid. So geoid means that earth has a bulge on the equator and is flat at the poles. So as earth rotates, it produces kind of a centrifugal force. Centrifugal force. This centrifugal force forces the continents to get apart or move towards poles. Pole fleeing force, moving towards the poles. The rotation of the earth forces continents to move towards the poles. He mentions another force, that is tidal force. Tidal force. Alfred Wegener says that due to the gravity of sun and moon, the gravity of sun and moon forces the continents to move. But the scholars were not happy with this force, they were not satisfied by the answer of this force. They find these forces to be inadequate. The story further moves. The story further moves, and now we will discuss the post-drift theories, that what were the theories given by some other scholars. This was by Alfred Wegener. So the second part, that is post-drift theories. So the first post-drift theory is convectional current theory. Convectional current theory. Convectional current theory, as per convectional current theory, there are some radioactive elements inside the earth. Specifically the mantle part. Crust, mantle and core we have already studied. In the mantle part. Now this distribution, non-uniform distribution of radioactive elements leads to thermal differences. The differences in the energy, the differences in the heat. Now as there is a differences in the heat in the mantle, listen to me carefully. This differences in the heat compels the semi-solid material in the mantle to move. Say this is outer core and say this is crust. As per convectional current theory, as we will go deep down the earth, there will be, the temperature will keep on rising. Every 32 meters, 1 degree Celsius, 1 degree Celsius temperature will rise. So as the temperature is more over here, the semi-solid material will rise. After touching the crust, it will diverge. When it will cool, it will subside. Convectional current theory. Convectional current theory. This is what convectional current theory says. Next was mapping of ocean floor. Mapping of ocean floor. To study this convectional current theory, we discovered something new, mapping of ocean floor. Now we research, when we researched the ocean floor, when we researched the ocean floor, the mapping of ocean floor says that we discovered 3 types of floors. The one is continental drift. Continental margin. Actually, this mapping of ocean floor led to ocean floor configuration. When we dived in the ocean to actually research for this convectional current theory, we came out for a new theory, mapping of ocean floor, and this mapping of ocean floor further led to the configuration of ocean floor. Now this configuration says that ocean is divided into 3 parts, 3 regions specifically. The one is continental margin. Continental margin. What is continental margin? It says this is water. This part is continental shelf. Continental shelf. This part is continental shelf. This part is continental slope. This part is continental rise, and this is the deep trench. So these 4 things are mentioned in the continental margin. The one is continental shelf, a very gentle slope. After this gentle slope will end, you will observe a steep slope. That steep slope is continental slope. After that steep slope, you will observe a bit of rise, due to deposition of rivers. It can be possible due to deposition of rivers and deep down the ocean. Then we'll experience the trench. So these 4 things have been mentioned in the continental margin. Next it says abyssal plains. Abyssal plains. After the trench, you will observe normal plain area, plain region. That is what we call abyssal plains. The third part, it says mid-oceanic ridge. This mid-oceanic ridge is actually an interconnected chain. It is you will observe somewhere here, the interconnected chain. If the interconnected chain in which the volcanic eruption is happening, the lava will come out. I am showing you an aerial view. This is mid-oceanic ridge. You will see a chain of mountains. Now, how these mountains have been formed? Because there is a fault in the ocean. From that fault, actually, the lava is coming out. And it is settling over here. That settling of lava, that deposition of lava, cooling down of lava, solidification of lava is actually forming the ridge. So the ridge in the ocean, mid-oceanic ridge, oceanic floor configuration, continental margin, abyssal plains, mid-oceanic ridge. Now, this study of ocean floor or mapping of ocean floor led to a new theory. It gave birth to a new theory, that is sea floor spreading. Sea floor spreading. As per the sea floor spreading, it is claimed that the lava, this is the aerial view, the lava is coming out from this mid-oceanic ridge, from this fault, and it is settling somewhere here. Let me make another diagram. Lava came out, it is settling over here. So the first point of sea floor spreading is that lava is coming out of that mid-oceanic ridge. Mid-oceanic ridge brings lava in the ocean. Second observation is of sea floor spreading is that the lava near this fault or near this ridge is younger than actually this lava. How? When say this is the first eruption, this is the first. Now when second time it will erupt, the new lava will settle here and the lava earlier deposited will be pushed further. So it seems to sea floor spreading. This is what second point says. The lava near to the ridge is younger than the lava far from the ridge. Next, third point, it says that due to this seafloor spreading, due to this deposition of lava, the continental crust, the oceanic crust is much younger than continental crust. The oceanic crust is not older than 200 million years old anywhere on the earth. But we can find continental rocks or continental crust which are 3200 million years old. Why? Because whenever eruption takes place, it pushes the earlier lava to the other side, on both the sides. Seafloor spreading, the third point. The fourth point, it says that the sediments in the oceanic crust in the ocean are thinner actually. We find actually the scholars or the researchers expected that the sediments in the ocean and the sediments on the continent would be same. But there are some differences in their shape. The sediments in the ocean are much thinner, much refined than on the continent. Fifth, it says that we have recently studied trench, that in the trench, in deep down the trench, what is trench? Trench, if trench is a depression, the way we have mountains on the crust, we have trench, deep trench in the ocean. How they are formed, we'll study further. It says that, what is focus? We have already studied from where actually the earthquake originates. It says the focus in the trench is deeper. The focus of the earthquake in the trench is deeper than the focus in the mid-oceanic ridge. Sir, how are you saying that the focus can only be present here deep down the trench and they will only be found here in the mid-oceanic ridge? We will study this part in next plate tectonic theory, the new modern theory. So for the time being, understand the fifth point, that the focus of the earthquake in the trench will be deeper than the focus of the earthquake in the mid-oceanic ridge. The focus here will be shallow. It won't be much deeper than as compared to trench. So these are the 5 points. I have not written them though, but I have narrated them. Once you listen it carefully, it will be easy for you to read them. So sea floor spreading. Next, plate tectonics, the modern theory which we follow today. Actually, this modern theory, that is plate tectonic, this plate tectonic theory has its origin in all the theories which we have studied just now. After compilation of all these theories, After connecting them, continental drift theory, sea floor spreading, convectional current theory, we have given a birth to the new theory, that is plate tectonic. What is a plate now? Plate is actually a lithospheric slab. If you have listened to my earlier lecture of the same book, we have studied that what is lithosphere. Part of crust, full of crust, and a part of upper mantle. That slab is what I am calling as plate. Tectonic means movement. Tectonic means movement. So plate की movement, plate tectonic, this movement can also be said as, it is also said as tectonic activity. This movement is also said as tectonic activity. Now recall the continental drift theory. Alfred Wegener said that the continents are moving. The new theory is saying that no, not the continents are moving. Even the oceans are moving. How? Because the lithospheric slab or plates can be of two types. The one is the continental plate and the other is the oceanic plate. Now a single plate can have continent and ocean on it. A single plate can have. Majority, if this plate has majority of continent, we will call it as continental plate. If the plate will have majority of ocean, we will call it as oceanic plate. So this lithospheric slab is of two types. Now there are 7 types of plates, 7 major plates. The earth, the lithosphere of earth is actually divided into 7 major plates. 7 major. I am narrating it. The one is Antarctica plate, North America, South America, Pacific. Then we have Indian, Australian and New Zealand plate, a single plate. Then we have African plate. We have African plate. So North America, South America, Antarctica, Pacific, Indo-Australian, Africa. Which one is left? North America, South America, Africa. 1, 2, 3. Then we have Pacific. Then we have Indo-Australian plate. Then we have Eurasian plate. And then we have Antarctica plate. So these are the 7 major plates. There are also some minor plates like Coco plate, Fuji plate, Nazca plate, Arabian plate. You have to remember these 7 major plates holds importance. So these are the 7 major plates of which the earth lithosphere is formed. Now these plates, they can be continental, they can be oceanic. These plates are somewhere connected to each other. If they are connected to each other, means they are forming some boundary. They are forming some boundary. Now what are the boundaries they form? This is interesting. Two types of plates, oceanic and continental, they form boundaries. 3 types of boundaries. Three types of boundaries. The one is divergent. means if the plates are moving away from each other. They are also known as spreading. NCERT says they are also known as spreading sites. Now recall the sea floor spreading. Actually there is the plates are diverging. They are diverging. So divergence is causing. Now if the lithosphere slab is diverged, नीचे क्या है? Mantle, asthenosphere, lava will come out. Divergent. The next is convergent. However, we will study. NCERT does not mention the repercussions of these boundary, that what type of landforms can be formed through these boundaries. So I am not discussing it over here, though I will discuss it in detail, each and every detail, the repercussions of these boundaries in the physical geography, which we discuss for the UPSC, CDS, other state civil service exams. You can refer to that video where we will be discussing that. So convergent boundary. Convergent boundary. Both the plates are coming to each other. Let me tell you something. As I promised that I will tell you how trenches form. Now, if the one of the plate is continental plate, the other is oceanic plate. As per the study, the oceanic plate is denser. Denser means it is heavier. Now, as it is heavier, so whenever they will converge, this plate will subside. If this is oceanic plate, this is continental plate, this plate will subside. The diagram will form somewhat like this. This plate will subside. Now, if this plate will subside, this oceanic plate, can you see this zone? Subduction zone. This zone is called as subduction zone. This subduction zone is actually the trench. This subduction zone is actually the trench. Now, listen to me carefully. Now, if they are, these are the two plates. One is subsiding inside. So you can say over here there's a subduction. Now, if this is moving with a speed of say 3 to 5 centimeter per year, there are rocks. Rocks are causing friction. Now, this friction pressure is generated. Due to this friction, the pressure is generated. This pressure remains reserved for years. And a time will come when this pressure will release. The release of pressure will lead to earthquake. That is why I said in seafloor spreading that the focus of the earthquake will be deep in the trench. Now you will be able to understand the fifth point mentioned in the seafloor spreading. And divergent boundaries can also form earthquake. So in this case, the focus of the earthquake will not be much deeper as compared to trench. Anyways, third type of boundary, that is transform boundary. What does transform boundary say? Say these are the two plates. Okay? Earlier, in one of the boundaries, they were diverging. Second boundary, they are converging. Third boundary, they are moving like this. Transform boundary. Now, this type of boundary can also cause earthquake. you can see the map given in the NCERT. Ring of fire, they have mentioned the ring of fire. So they have mentioned that how, where the volcanoes are formed. Now how volcanoes are formed, how fold mountains are formed, though they have given in the hotspots, they have given in the NCERT, but we will discuss it in the physical geography in detail, because it requires a lot of time. Divergent, convergent and transform boundary. Next, the last is the movement of the Indian plate. As per the theory, I already discussed in Indian geography, Indian physical environment, the book, that the India was part of Gondwana land. Now I hope now you can able to connect it. India was at 50 degrees south latitude. Equator, say this is 50 degrees south and say this is 23.5. So India moved from this region to this region. It got apart from Gondwana land. Peninsular India. It's separated from Gondwana land. So the Indian plate is, what is Indian plate? In the east, we have Rakhine Yoma. In Myanmar, Rakhine Yoma. And just below the Rakhine Yoma, say here it is the Rakhine Yoma in Myanmar. Just below the Rakhine Yoma, the plate boundary goes like this, convergent. Here we have mountains in Pakistan. So from this region to the Red Sea region, this is the extent of Indian plate. And in south, we have a divergent boundary with Antarctic plate. So this is actually the extent of the Indian plate. Though actually India and Australia started moving, they started moving together, but India moved a bit towards north and Australia moved a bit towards southeast. And it further mentions, the facts are given that whenever it separated around 200 million years ago, and the Himalayas are formed around 40 to 50 million years ago. So I hope you can, if you can understand the concept, you can easily learn the facts. So this was all in the distribution of ocean and continents. Thank you.